What is the worst thing about sleeping in your car in the middle of the woods when it's really, really dark at night? It's actually hearing the worst thing you could ever imagine. I told you so.
I had a guidance counselor that asked for all of his seniors to come back 1 year after they graduated from high school. And I was one of those seniors that decided to go back. He knew I was going to come back because at the end of the day, I was one of those kids that was at the top of the class. And then he asked me this one question that changed everything. So what have you done for the past year?
The year after high school, I kind of chilled. And when I went back to see Dr. Mott, he told me very clearly, well, since you haven't created your path and since you didn't follow the path that we tried to help you find, let me tell you what your default path looks like. How does a girl who has a 3.95 GPA, who was in part of every activity, end up in that situation? And he said, because your default path was already created for you at birth, and you are following it.
In today's world, there's so many people that are kind of just getting from point A to point B. When you understand that that's what the real problem is, that people are just going through life, they're not planning what they're going to do next, and they're not actively pursuing that next thing, that things do tend to pass them by. So how do you proactively create what it is that you want in the future? How do you actively step into that future every single solitary day? This is about having that mindset of not only being present, but being present in the fact that you're doing something today that is definitely impacting your steps towards that future that you want to create.
So I got on I-95 and I headed north in my broken down piece of crap Dodge Omni. I mean, it was bad. There was rust everywhere. And I got all the way to South Carolina. I knew better than to go to a rest stop. Those were dangerous. So you take your car, you go as deep into the woods as possible, you stop there, and then the next morning you wake up, you get on I-95 North, and you go and see the Statue of Liberty. Because any chick that can hang out outside in the dead of winter wearing sandals has an answer. I knew she did, I just had to see her. My car did not. Because as smart as I was, the only thing I knew to put in my car was gas, not oil. So I had a default path and I was following it.
I stayed there for, actually I lived in my car for almost 4 months. I started thinking about, what if I had taken a different path? There's a Dawnna 2.0, there's a future Dawnna, and what does she do? So this whole dream of what the future me looked like, I started actually writing it down in this book. And then I asked myself, what if I could do just one thing that that future Dawnna does in the future? What if I could just do that today?
I kind of started pulling that dream towards me simply by taking an action to just taste a little bit of that life. Only a couple of years after that, by the way, I used that same mindset, the same exact mindset, to start a business intelligence company. So from 25 years old, with just a high school diploma, at 27 years old, I started a business intelligence company. I used that same exact mindset to grow that business intelligence company into a global consultancy. The mindset of an entrepreneur can take you anywhere. That is the recipe for you 2.0.
How can I make engage not just something that you talk about, not just a mindset thing, because I'm all about changing mindset into practical, but something that we do. For people to be up out of their seats going whoop, 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 and clapping and going crazy and playing with me and coming on stage and allowing me to go down and into the audience and play with them and talk to them and really give them critical points that they could actually use to engage better at work every day and to be present and to give people what they need in order to have a positive work environment. That was everything. It was everything, it was everything. It was great.
So this is how you increase engagement in less than 1 second. You put down your phone. You know what question I asked? What is Dawnna 2.0? What advice does she have? Because she knows some things. The one thing that I know for sure is that a milestone without a goal will only bring you back to your default path. Because I stopped asking about what the rules were, what I should do, and what I was allowed to do. And I started asking, what can I do? And what will I do? I want you to imagine that you want to get people on board with whether it's a new innovation, a new idea, maybe you're a new leader within an organization, or maybe you're a salesperson and you're trying to really get that client to sign on, right? At the end of the day, there's this whole psychology of influence mixed with some FBI hostage negotiation tactics. So when you put that together, you really have the ability to get people on board.
And the most valuable thing we have is not money, it's time. Because time is very limited for each one of us. What is the one thing that you do better than anyone else?
It's now not just about selling them that business win, because there's another win that you have to get for your customer, and that's the personal win. But if you really want to make more money faster, if you want to have fatter deals and deeper pockets, you really have to understand how to get to the personal win of the customer and create this client or this customer exclusivity type program that makes them loyal and spend more money on you often. Maybe there is a you 2.0 screaming to you. Listen.